he say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. It says, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Because it's, it's not going to get easier. It's going to get worse and worse. So this is going to usher in all of this turmoil that's going to be seen on the earth. The fourth part of the earth is a representation of Esau's earth. And you have what? You have 2/3 of Israel in America. You have the nations around the world. You have certain Israelites around the world that are conforming to Esau. They're all going to get caught up in the midst of this. All right. So let's go from there to the book of Jeremiah 15, just to give you an example of that. Now, this Jeremiah 15 is dealing with Israel specifically. But remember, scriptures that are dealing with Israel as far as some type of catastrophe or hardship is concerned is going to be put upon Esau. You can read Lamentations, the 4th chapter, around the 21st, 22nd verse, around there. And then you can read Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. So Jeremiah 15:1. Then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be toward this people. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth. And there's another scripture that speaks about Job, that if they had been there, it was three of them, that they had been there, they would not only but save their own souls. So even if Moses and Samuel stood before the Lord and pleaded for Jake today, certain Israelites, the Lord said his mind could not be towards them. It says, and it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Yeah, where are we going to go? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity. And remember, you have certain amount of Israelites out there that are set up to be destroyed. And there's going to be different things that's going to take hold of them, depending on the judgment that the Most High is going to bring upon them. It says, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. So it's going to be bad. You got to remember, you have a lot of major cities in America. We're dealing with America right now. Got a lot of major cities in America. So wild beasts usually are in forests. But then you have also, other parts of America that are wilderness. And for the most part, the cities are going to be shut down. So what do you think most people are going to be running to? They're going to be running to these different desolate places in the forest, out in the woods, different places. And a lot of them are going to die of hunger. A lot of them are going to die by wild beasts. Wild beasts are going to tear it into their ass. So there's many different scenarios that are going to be played out. All right. So that's what this pale horse is dealing with. And ultimately it's going to bring the destruction. All right. Now let's go from there back to the Apocrypha. Let's go to the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39. And I'll give you the verse in a minute. Verse 27. It says, all these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. So whatever judgment may be for the righteous is going to be righteous judgment. For the wicked is going to be wicked judgment. There be spirits that are what? Created for vengeance. The vengeance of who? The vengeance of the Most High, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. It says, in the time of destruction they pour out their force. And what? And appease the wrath of him that made them, because it's the Lord that sent them. So there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. There could be apparitions. There could be Leviathan can come out of the water. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but the Lord knows. It says fire and hail and famine and death. All these were created for what? For vengeance, for the Most High's vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. And 2/3 of Israel and other Israelites around the world are part of that wicked ilk, so to speak, for lack of better words. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. So when the Lord needs them, they're going to be right there ready. And when their time has come, they shall not transgress his word, because whatever the Lord set forth to happen and for them to do, they're going to do it. Therefore, from the beginning I was resolved and thought upon these things, and have left them in writing. All the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season, so that a man cannot say, this is worse than that. For in time they shall all be approved. And therefore praise ye the Lord with the whole heart and mouth, and bless the name of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Yeah, because he's the one that's in control of all of these things. Now let's go back to Revelation chapter 6 and 8. Let's read that again. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him, which death is death, and hell is the grave. You know, follow him, because it's gonna be bad, man. People joking and playing games. When it starts really getting hot out here, then they're gonna really want to take it serious. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, which is Esau's earth, to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. So there's going to be a lot of devastation going on, and ultimately the destruction. It says, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High and for the testimony which they held, which is dealing with the Israelites in the spirit world that were put to death. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? It says, and white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. And we just read the scripture a little while ago, which was 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verses 7 to 9, and you could read that again if you want to get a little better understanding. So now, because this is the spirits that's up in the heavens right now crying to the Lord, that were in the truth and that died in the truth. Verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Because in the midst of the sixth, towards the end of the sixth trumpet, into the beginning of the seventh, that's when the destruction comes. Remember, it says in Job, in 6 troubles he shall deliver thee, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. So at the very end of all of this is what? The nuclear destruction. So it's not going to get better. It's not going to get easier. It's just going to get progressively worse.